Yeah, you don't. Yeah. Not really. All right, let's see if that worked. It did work. That's great. Yay. All right, so let's see. Let's record this to the cloud. All right. Well, you know what? It's a little snowy outside, but it's Whiskey Wednesday. As I always say, as Randall and I always say, the weather is always perfect inside a liquor store. And here we are. And I get Danielle Seals is here with me tonight. She is the regional vice poobah for Kaiyō.
I am now the national operations manager for LHK Spirits, which includes Kaiyō, Elsa, and Umberni.
Wow, very good.
Yes.
Knowing my buddy Jeff, that was just a title and no pay increase. She's not commenting. I know the answer now. I'm gonna say this right now. Jeff, pay her some money. All right, we'll go from there. He'll yell at me tomorrow. Don't worry about it. All right, so we're gonna do Kaiyō tonight. Anybody not had Kaiyō in the audience tonight? Oh, I like it. Newbies. All right, let the hazing begin.
Welcome to the club.
Yes, let the hazing begin. Now, welcome to the club. All right, so I think we should first start out, since there's a lot of newbies here tonight, we should probably first start out about the whole concept of Kaiyō, because technically, Kaiyō is not a Japanese whiskey.
Correct.
But wait, there's more. It's not technically a Japanese whiskey, but it is more Japanese than most Japanese whiskeys.
That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true.
So let's go by and sort of explain it. It's distilled.
It is 100% Japanese distillate.
Okay.
One of the things that I should say first and foremost is Kaiyō. We are a blending house. We're blenders. We don't have a distillery. So if you go to Japan, you're not going to be able to go and knock on, Kaiyō distillery and see us. It doesn't exist. But one of the distilleries that we do purchase our new make spirit, which you'll be tasting today, is from the Helios distillery.
Okay.
So everything, Jeff actually works with those distilleries and tells them exactly how he wants the style of the cuts made. So he's very hands-on in everything, even though we aren't actually in the building itself and doing it ourselves. So it's 100% Japanese distillate. Yes, we're not purchasing stuff from England or Canada or anything and bringing it over there. It's 100% Japanese distillate. It is then matured in Japan, or blended and matured in Japan.
Right,
and it's there for at least 3 years.
In Mizunara, though.
In Mizunara, yes.
In Mizunara, which is Japanese oak.
Yes.
From Japan.
Yes.
And by the way, there is Mizunara that's not from Japan.
Yes.
So that's another thing that we should point out. This is Mizunara from Japan.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Guys.
And so it's there for at least 3 years.
Yep.
But Jeff is a big proponent of ocean maturation and the sea maturation, which he has done with Celt Cognac, and he was very familiar with. And because we take it out in the Mizunara oak barrels and put them on a ship and it sails for 3 months, we can't bring it back into Japan. So because of that, we don't say on the labels anywhere that it is Japanese whiskey. But it is Japanese distillate, it's Japanese oak, and it's distilled and matured there for at least 3 years before it goes.
And I think we talk about this all the time. I think it's because of to me, it never made a difference because how it drank. And I think in this day and age, as long as you're being transparent of what you're doing, you sort of get that idea. Okay, it can't be called Japanese whiskey because we're putting it on the ocean.
Right.
And we're sending it away. And that's the final maturation of this whiskey. And
yeah, he never set out and said, I want to make a Japanese whiskey. He was like, I want to make one of the best whiskeys in the world. And he wanted the best ingredients, the best distillate, the best wood, and best maceration techniques. And that's what he found in using Japanese ingredients.
Does anybody have any questions? Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, in the back. Can I turn it up a little bit? I don't know. Maybe. Is that better? Can you hear her? You really don't need to hear me. We got to hear her. I mean, I'm just window dressing. Yes, sir. Where is it bottled?
So once it leaves Japan, it takes the 3-month sea voyage and goes up to Liverpool, which is where our warehouse is. It continues maturation there and is then bottled. And we like to go hot to cold and we do that on purpose. We normally do not put any of the bottles or the barrels on a ship during the summer months because it is too hot, and it's a little too like difficult to kind of like gauge what will happen to those
What will happen
barrels
to the
then.
whiskey, right?
Yes. So, but it has to go hot to cold. And then we like Liverpool because, as Jeff puts it, there's two different types of weather there. It's rain and waiting for rain. So he likes cold or cool, damp environment
Okay.
for the whiskey, for these barrels to really like shine and be able to impart their flavors into the whiskey as they're maturing.
Okay. Cool. Yes. What's the magic that happens on the ocean?
So
It's the motion of the ocean, sir.
it's the motion of the ocean. That is the phrase that,
That
we
is
use
it.
a lot. Yeah. I mean, this was first started with Kelt Cognac, and when he was brought in and was blending for them years back when he first started there, he kind of thought it was like a bunch of like,
Hoo-ha.
yeah.
I think it was his exact words.
So he decided to conduct his own experiment. So he blended everything, put them in the barrels, and then sent them out. And when they returned, he saw that, not every barrel, but there was like 60% of those barrels came back exceptionally better in flavor and in depth. And then there was another 20 or so that kind of stayed the same from when they first left. And then there was another 20% that they were just worse off.
Well,
So
yeah, but I think
got rid of
that's
those.
important because I think it's one of those type of things is that that's part of the art of the blend. No matter what you do and how you do it, it's still at the end, it's still a choice of what you're doing with the product. So whether he's blending and putting it together, it's still going to be Jeff's choice of what he's going to blend together, anyways.
Right, right.
So if you can expand the pool with better whiskey, than just having it sit there, why not do it?
Right. And
Right?
he also, and again, and each voyage is going to bring back different results as well. So like no two voyages ever going to be the same.
Okay. Do you guys want to try some whiskey? All right. So the first one we're going to try, I think I'll start on this one because this is ours.
This is your pick. Yeah.
This is ours. So we wanted to figure out how we were going to do this. We're actually going to start and end with a lock and key pick. So the first one that we're going to do tonight is barrel 7134, which we named it Harmonious Assault. This is a 9-year-old. This actually has it's 56% ABV, and it has spent its life in basically 2 different barrels, same type of wood, but new Mizunara oak, and then used Mizunara oak. Okay. The older used Mizunara oak is still going to mature the whiskey and go that, but you're not going to get those big Mizunara flavors. And what we found, and we were talking about it, you get the Mizunara, but it is a very well balanced whiskey, and that's what we were sort of shooting for. Jeff sends me a bunch of samples, and we just start. The team here just starts going through them and seeing what Jeff sent us. And he always goes like, I knew you were going to choose that one and that one. And the first one out, I don't think everybody remembers, was Power and Poise. All right. And we picked those for different reasons. I was only supposed to pick 1 barrel. And I said, I need 2. And Jeff goes, okay, I'll sell you 2. And that's how a friendship works. I take and he gives. So it's like a 50-50. So this one is called Harmonious Assault, and I think you'll sort of, as you taste this, you'll sort of see what we're talking about about terms of balance in a whiskey. So salute. Now I'm going to tell you there's some here that we're going to compare. So don't down it all. This is not a shooting match. Okay, don't down it all because might have you the Sheri and the PX. I want you to try. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I have a billboard of Kaiyo, and it's if you go upstairs, we got 17 products of Jeff's in this store. So, listen, if he keeps making good whiskey, I'll keep carrying it. I mean, that's out of the. I mean, he just started the Irish whiskey, and some of those are really, really good too, and pretty well priced too. What's that? Yes. Sure. Yeah. You wanna talk about the Mizunara oak?
Yes.
Did you guys try this? You like it? Good. Yeah. Do you get the balance I'm talking about? No big edges. No big. It's not. It's harmonious. It all sort of flows together from beginning to end. You want to talk about Mizunara?
Yeah, sure. So the Mizunara is an extremely difficult type of tree and wood to work with. The tree itself is not shaped like an American oak or a French oak, like a straight trunk. The tree itself is very twisty and curvy and stuff. And with that, most coopers will not work with it. It's porous. It's difficult to meld. So there's only two coopers in the world that will actually work with it. One of them is owned by Suntory, and the other is the Ariake Cooperage in Kyoto. And so that's where we get all of our Mizunara oak barrels. They only produce about 300, 350 of them, and pretty much get the lion's share. So we have the second largest inventory of Mizunara oak barrels that are out there. But these trees need to be 200 years old and a certain diameter in order to be even used. And they have to fall on their own. So they can't be cut down. They have to actually fall naturally, and then they can be selected to be used. So
Is
there's
that
a
why
lot
Jeff's shoulder
going.
was bruised because he was hitting trees?
Uh,
Oh, damn you. That one looks like a chainsaw. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not on those trips. I don't know.
And the Mizunara too. Usually, typically, Mizunara will be first used for plum wine. It's typically where it was originally used for to aging plum wine. They're sort of leaky. They're not really good, but they're not really
Yeah,
good
all
barrels.
of the barrels leak. We
Yeah.
say
How much they leak?
2%,
Yeah.
like 2% goes, to the angel share, another 4% to hell because all of the barrels leak. The sea maturation actually does help kind of like close up those leaks because of the
humidity.
because of like with the air temperature and the air pressure, the staves are like contracting and expanding, so they will kind of plug up, but they do. There's leaks all over the place. There's leaks all over the warehouse. Jeff says, like in Liverpool, like there's always stuff going on. So, but some of the components of like the wood itself is like a sandalwood and also Kara, which is a type of Oriental or Asian incense. So when some people are first tasting Mizunara whiskey for the first time, or Mizunara matured whiskey for the first time, they a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, it's kind of peated or smoke," and that's kind of that you have that like richness of a sandalwood and also this incense coming along that like your memory of your senses, your sensory memory
exactly.
is just kind of like probably putting those two together. I'm like, oh, it's peat. And, well, it's not really peat, but that's where that's coming from. It's in the same kind of family, but this is not peated. Yours is not
We
peated.
will
have a peated, but
we
this
will
one
have a
is
peated,
not.
but this one is not.
This one is not.
And you'll see the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big difference. All right.
But none of the trees are actually like none of the parts of the trees go to waste because they do use it for furniture as
Right.
well. Like Jeff picks certain areas, like he actually specifies where he needs the cuts, and there's only like specific parts that can be used for the barrels. But the rest of the parts, like they are used in other ways in furniture.
Yeah,
is the
nothing
big
goes to
one.
waste. So if a
Yeah, they
200-year-old
don't
tree,
waste it.
Yeah, they don't waste
Yeah,
it.
they're not wasting it. So
Makes big trees little toothpicks, but whatever. No, they don't make toothpicks out of them. That was a joke. Everybody's going to be searching for Mizunara toothpicks now.
they'll be very expensive.
They'll be very expensive.
They'll be very, very expensive. And there is a lot, and as you were saying, there are other Mizunara trees out there that are not Japanese. And what's going on is that there are, companies that are purchasing Mizunara barrels, but they're not actually Japanese Mizunara barrels. They're being led to believe that they are, but they might be Chinese or Russian. Yeah. Jeffrey actually went down to Mexico to a company that is doing tequila, and he had, I don't know if you say the misfortune, or he had to tell them that the barrels that they had were not Japanese Mizunara barrels. But
Right.
they were Chinese and Russian barrels.
But they're Mizunara. That's I'm gonna hang my hat on that. But they were Mizunara.
Mizunara, but they were not what they thought they were buying.
Right. And probably and you pay good money for real Japanese Mizunara barrels too.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not-
Like these were just
they're not inexpensive.
Right.
All right. Second one we're gonna try tonight is the 5-wood.
5-wood.
Pedro Jimenez, ex-bourbon, French oak, Mizunara, and Oloroso.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. And I should mention that they're all on chill filter too. All of these are unchill filtered, so we can start there. This one's 44% ABV. Just for those who, I know Lisa likes to make her notes. All right, so this is the 5 wood.
This is the 5 wood.
I can't hit a 5 wood on the golf course anyway, so I'm not going to try. All right, like totally different whiskey, right? Got all these different flavors going on in this one.
Yeah, this one is our most difficult whiskey to actually create and keep in balance for Jeffrey. He has a 2% margin of error to keep everything balanced. So he's not taking the whiskey and moving it into 5 different barrels. He's taking whiskeys from 5 different barrels and creating his blend. And it's a secret.
How old is this one though? But they all. I should have told you the harmonious assault that I tell you was 9 years old. The 5 wood, I believe, is younger, like 4 or 5.
5.
Yeah. If memory serves me right, I couldn't remember, but about 5 years old. Good. I like that one. What do you guys think? You know, when you start working with the same, you just got to remember, you're basically working with the same distillate. It's basically aging and finishing and blending, the art of the blend.
Right.
Right. That was pretty good, though. I did like that one. What's the next one we're going to do? We're going to do, okay, so when we were sort of setting this up tonight, we went through a bunch of iterations of how we were going to present this to you. And we ended up, obviously, we figured out what we felt would be the best one to go through. The next one, I think you were saying it, Danielle, it was like, I wish he hadn't named it rye.
I do. I wish, if he's listening, he's probably going to yell at me and be
That's
like,
okay.
why didn't you say that? Why did you say that? Yeah, I wish he didn't call it the rye.
I wish you didn't name it the rye.
I wish it wasn't named the rye, just because people who don't like rye whiskey just kind of get turned off by it.
Right.
However, I'll say when these were, so this one was part of the Wood Library series, the 3 that were released last year, last fall. And there was 4 of them in total in that series. But when these 3 were released, this one was actually my favorite of those 3. But the name can throw some people off.
Yeah, but I think the rye,
But
the spiciness of the rye goes, it contrasts very well with the Mizunara.
It does. It absolutely does. But I feel like some people are hesitant to try it, or just because of the name.
I will tell you,
so
this was
I
done.
Always like to pour for people, and they're pleasantly surprised when they actually do taste it.
Yeah, let's just not tell them what it is. Too late. We told them. But this is. I will tell you, this is Knob Creek rye barrels that he used.
So it's a 10-year-old age stated, and it's 5 years in the Mizunara, and then 5 years in the ex Knob Creek rye barrel.
You're gonna get that's from we were just talking about it earlier. It's like really from the Mizunara barrel. It sort of plays itself as like a smoky, but it's more, if you really delve into it a little bit deeper, it's almost more of an incense than it is a smoke. When you walk into the church, do you just immediately combust into flames? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, sir. It's 5 and 5. 5 and 5. Oh, 5 wood?
5. 5 years.
5 years. Sorry. The rye is 10. It's 5 in Mizunara, 5 in ex rye barrels.
Keeps the math easy.
See, even though he says this is rye, you're right. I'm not immediately going, oh, that's rye whiskey.
Right.
Like that it was aged in.
I mean,
it comes out differently.
It does. It comes out differently, and it's quite nice. And that's why I also think it does enhance the components of the Mizunara very well. And like you said, like with the incense and those flavors, like I feel like the spice really blend together quite well. So it's just getting people to go past the name and try it.
No, and I think that's, liquid to lips always helps.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. And that's why you're all here.
Right. So the barrel, it's the distillate has no rye in it.
Everything,
The distillate
everything is
is all
100% malted barley.
malted barley. They're
Everything's
all malted barley, 100% malted barley. It's all you're tasting tonight is the same distillate. It's how it's treated afterwards. How it's aged and how it's finished are really, and how it's blended are really the three differences in each different expression you're going to try tonight. All right, does that make sense? All right. Now, okay. So I'm gonna say this for the next two. I want you to taste these. I want you to compare the next two. All right. So no shots out there. I want you to compare the next two. All right. So the first one is, what's the first one?
The first one is the Sheri, our 3rd edition. And
right.
so
this is the new Sheri. Is this the new one?
no, this
Okay.
one is the previous edition.
The previous edition.
Let me
okay,
double
this is
check.
the one
Yes,
on our shelves anyways. This is what we have. This is the Sheri.
Right. So something that we come out with a number of limited edition SKUs. This is one of them. This is actually our most sought after SKU. There's only 500 cases produced when we do come out with each release. And so this was the previous release. And it is a 10-year-old.
We have a little bit left on the shelf on this one, so we figured we would let everybody, try this one.
Mm-hmm. So this one is again, non-age dated 10-year-old. It is in Oloroso Sheri for 3 years, and then it goes into the Mizunara barrels for its sea voyage. Comes back 4 years in Oloroso, and then 3 years in PX barrels.
Wow. So, but what's that?
Do you need it again?
Yeah.
So 3 years in Oloroso, 3 months in Mizunara, 4 years in Oloroso, 3 years in PX. Hence why I said before that it was easy on the math that it's 5 and 5 for the rye.
Oh, do you guys get that now?
This one's 46% ABV as well for anyone taking notes.
Unchill filtered.
Yes, everything unchill filtered and all natural coloring. So you can really see the color. Even comparing the two of these, which you'll see.
So that one though is all Oloroso. The next one we're going to try is all PX.
Yeah.
Is it the same treatment? No.
So it's going to be.
We're going to try them next to each other. So here's what we got.
Yeah. So the newest edition is a PX, and it is it's the 3 years in the PX, 3 months Mizunara, and then the remaining time in the PX, and it's again a non-age stated 10-year-old.
10-year-old. Okay.
Yeah.
And the Oloroso, there's 3X of PX?
There's 3 years. There's 3 years on the end.
On the end of the Oloroso.
On the end of the Oloroso.
So this is only PX in Mizunara on this one now. And I will tell you though, here's sort of the thing though. When they're sending them over in a maturation in PX, when they're shipping them on the ocean, it's not new Mizunara. Okay, it's used Mizunara. So you're not getting like a bomb of Mizunara. It's continuing the aging. You're getting the sea maturation. You're getting a little bit of Mizunara because there's no way of not getting it.
Right.
But it's not a brand new Mizunara barrel that he's sending on the sea voyage because, one, he's sending barrels that are actually sealed, and he's not going to put a new barrel on there because when he gets to the end, it'd probably be dry. Right?
Yeah, he uses the barrels. He'll use the Mizunara barrels until he can't use them anymore.
Use the Mizunara barrels anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So number 5 is the PX. So try that against that. I know we have it up here, so we brought them all down here because we're supposed to get one other, and they kept sending us the same one. We said, well, you know what? Let's just go with that. I like this one a lot. This may be my new favorite.
Oh, there you go. Well, and I'll say that Massachusetts is one of the first states to get it. So you guys are one of the first ones to be able to get your hands on it.
Those blackmail pitches come in handy every once in a while. Yeah, you definitely
see. Now I can't use my excuse that I just like you guys that much, and I send the stuff to you guys first.
No. It's I have. Everybody knows I have stuff on Jeff. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. He's gonna watch this and go like, "I'm gonna kill you." My wife will then have my death on him. Yes, sir. If I tell you, I lose my leverage. Do you understand how blackmailing works, sir? Yes. It only works as long as I have it hidden. What do you guys think? Well, let me ask you a question. Just out of curiosity. Sheri, which was number 4, favorite. Sheri. PX. Well, it's a good thing we bought that extra case then, I guess.
You go.
Yeah. I like the Sheri too. I'm a sucker for Oloroso. So, but this PX is really nice. And it could be just because I'm trying it for the first time tonight. So, really nice. I like that a lot. Yeah, the Oloroso does have more of that like white mushroom. Yeah. Earthy sort of feel to it. Yeah. Everybody, you're only one of the few guys when I tell that to that gets that. When I say the white mushroom, because Oloroso to me does throw that white mushroom sort of flavor to it. I guess I just like mushrooms, so I eat enough of them, I guess. I don't know. You don't like it because that's how you recognize it. Foiled again. But also proves my point. All right, that's great. I like that one. That's a nice new one. All right. So now we're gonna give you Pete. So those who don't like Pete,
There's the door.
well, no, I think you really need to sort of try it though, because
Yes,
I think it's a little bit different than the Pete that you're used to.
Yeah, people who
It's new and improved Pete.
don't like Pete are actually pleasant. A lot of people
And
who
by
are
Pete, we're
pleasantly
saying
surprised.
PEAT, not PETE, because we all hate Pete. PETE, right, Pete?
So
What's the source of the peat?
So our peat actually comes from Isla, Orkney, and Mull. So we source our peat from the three sources. The phenol level is 35, so it's quite
low.
high. Well,
Yeah, but you okay?
higher
So
than
high. Okay, but you're going to lose in the distillation. You lose a lot.
well, and we put it into Madeira. We'd put into Madeira wine casks for 2 years. So it does cut that peat in half. Then it goes into Mizunara for a year, and then on its sea voyage, and then returns for another 5 years in the Mizunara before we bottle it.
So taste that. See what you think. Oh, who doesn't like peat?
We like to say it's our sweet and smoky.
He doesn't like. He doesn't like you either. Let you know that. No, who doesn't? You don't like peat. All right. So this is. What do you think of this? Do you like this at all, or is it completely off your radar? It tastes like what? Leather? Okay. Leather? Okay. I know. That's good. How about you, sir? More than it comes across more on the nose than it does on the palate. Yeah. I think you're right on that. That you agree with? Yeah, and I think you get a little, by the way, I think it's the Marcella, right? Is he using what's he using? Madeira. I think it's the Madeira. You're getting a little like sort of like salinic or brininess to it. On this one too. Right at the end, it sort of makes your mouth water, and you sort of get a little bit of that salinic sort of flavors on that too. If you blend the sherry, yeah, blend the sherry, the Oloroso, the sherry, which is the Oloroso with a little bit of PX in it, with the peat. How much did you put in? Because a little peat goes a long way. You did 50-50? Oh, Jesus. Now I got to do 50.
Now I got to.
Oh, that's pretty good. No, I got it. You're completely wrong. Anyway, no, it's actually really good. I always find when you get like, and it may even work better with the PX, when you get sort of like, if you can get like a sort of the sweetness, like a PX sweetness, and then the peat, you get sort of that like barbecue, like salted bacon, like that bacony sort of flavor to it, which Oloroso's a little too dry for that. I would have probably tried the PX. You drank all the PX. Well, there you go. You're excused. All right. But that's actually, this is what, you guys got to understand. This is sort of what Jeff does. I mean, when you start putting this many whiskeys in front of you and you've tried it and you've sort of made your evaluations of each whiskey, start playing around with it. Like, I always do 50-50 to start off with, but like peated, usually I use a lot less because a little peat goes a very long way. You don't need to jump.
Has he ever done the blending course?
Yes, he has. Some of these guys have done the blending course. Who's done the blending course here with Jeff? Yeah. You ready for another one? So let Jeff know.
I will let him know.
Well, which actually brings us to our next whiskey, which not a lot of people get to try, and it's sort of like in that blending course. This is one of the things you would go. So the next whiskey that we're going to do is actually the new make.
Yep. So this is our new make spirit. So this is 64% ABV. So, you can
be careful.
Be careful with it, just to warn you.
You can run your car on it.
Yes.
As Danielle points out.
Yes. Yes.
What's that on the nose? Sort of like a cedar?
I always get gardenia.
Gardenia?
I always get gardenia.
Oh, yeah. A little flowery. All right. Let's try this. That's a nice new make.
So this is where it all starts.
Who's the first time ever tried new make? Yeah, I saw it in your face. All of a sudden you see people go. It's almost like I'll be tasting out Christmas Eve. I'll be tasting out Malort. So and then I take pictures with Malort face. You ever see people have Malort face first? So, but you can always tell. It's like. But it's really good because it's really good to do if you ever get new make to actually try it. And I usually don't dilute it at all. Try it straight because that's a flavor that you're going to, if you dig deep enough in almost everything that we tried tonight, the peat and the heavily sherried are sort of more difficult, but you'll get that flavor. You'll start picking it out because that's what you're starting with. Mm-hmm. You'll pick out that flavor. It's prevalent in all of these. Mix the new make with the peated. Why? Because you want to die? Add some water. Okay. That don't get you. What's that? All right. The last one you guys are going to try tonight. This is actually goes pretty far back in the beginnings of Kaiyō. This is an 11-year-old whiskey we did 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago. So if you look at the barrel number in this, it's under 1,000.
978.
Yeah. So this is some of the first barrels that were sort of put down. This is 11 years in new Mizunara oak. Hence, it's called the Big Miz. Because if you want to taste what Mizunara tastes like, this gives it to you in spades, as they say. So try this one and see what you guys think. This is, I think, 56. Is this 56?
Yes,
56 ABV. You taste the Mizunara now? People go, what does Mizunara taste like? You go, here, taste this. You got a little bit of saline in there. There's a little salinic in there. Absolutely. Yeah, it's the ocean voyage. Maybe some seeped in. I don't know. You never know. What's that? Sailor sweat. The sailors were drinking it as it was coming over, and they were replacing it with seawater. No, but this is real. This is a real Mizunara. This is we've had two ends of the spectrum. So you had Harmonious Assault, which is a very well balanced Mizunara. You get the Mizunara, but there's no high highs, there's no low lows. It is harmonious. You get into the Big Miz, this is like getting hit over the head with a sledgehammer of Mizunara. There's no doubt about it. And it's 11 years old and new Mizunara. So, anybody like Big Miz? That's pretty good though, right? I mean, it's okay. We're people we're people of extremes. You know, how much peat can you get into this whiskey? How much hops can you get into that beer? How much smoke can you get into that, you know, that brisket? I mean, we do like big bold flavors. This is right. This is right in line with that. Big bold flavors, hence the name Big Miz. You haven't had? Have you had? You've had this one,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think?
This is actually one of my favorite single barrels that I have had. So, and I'm starting to get
All right,
more
Danielle, you
now.
can come back now.
Yeah, there we
This is your triumphant return.
go.
I really like this one. This is one the
I
people want.
actually have one of these at home.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
All right. There you go. So, okay, yeah, we're gonna go through some stuff afterwards. So, first of all, so what do you guys think in general? Did you like it? Right? Cool. Like Danielle? I want to thank everybody. You guys don't go anywhere. Don't. I got some announcements and stuff to make. You guys don't go anywhere. I want. We're gonna end this. Thank you everybody on Facebook, and this will be also a podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, go look for "It's the Liquor Talking," and it'll be there. I want to thank everybody on Facebook and the podcast for listening to us today. Just so you know, you should have been here. It was awesome.